very late, even though I didn't do any other exercise activities besides chess. But okay, I did schoolwork, I did math and stuff like that. But okay, I was also playing a lot online, although it was still chess. But okay, when I was a kid, I also played computer games, or command otherwise TV. So yeah, when I was a kid, I was very lazy, and I regret that because maybe I could have even become a stronger player now. But that's why, like they say, smart person. There's a famous quote: a smart person learns from other people's mistakes, while someone who's not as smart learns from their own mistake. Now, of course, it's better to learn from your own mistake than not to learn from your mistakes at all. But if you have a chance, try to learn from other people's mistakes so that you don't even get a chance to make that mistake. Like you hear me speaking, try to take that seriously and don't make the same mistakes as I did when I was a kid. Who's next? I think it was you.
How long did it take you to learn?
How long did it take me to, you mean how many moves? Oh, that I don't remember. I was a little kid back then. I don't remember such details. Let's see. It wasn't 4 moves. Trust me. It was a decent game. It was like maybe 20, 30 moves, something like that. Yes. Well, let's see. When I first learned how to play chess, I was in a small private school, and I don't remember if I did. Maybe I don't remember. But then I went to a middle school, which was a chess school. So for the most part, people all of them knew how to play chess. I wasn't like super social. Like I really started teaching kids only like when I was in high school, late high school. But I never really did too much chess teaching within school. I would always do it up to the coaches. And when I was very young, I was actually not so good at teaching to other people or related to them. That's something I only got better later on, like I said. Who's next? You mystified me.
Yeah. Yes.
With you being a grandmaster, how do you manage your time with being a grandmaster and like your time being like normal?
Well, chess is basically my profession. I mean, there are some grandmasters who work at a full-time job and they don't play anymore. I'm not one of these. I play full-time, so I only do chess for a living. I either play chess professionally, try to get better, or I teach chess. Or I do events like this one. That's basically all I do. Everything that I do involves chess, one way or another.
Yes.
Just wondering, when you're actually playing in a game, how do you actually calculate the best move or one of the best moves without blundering?
I try to when I play a game, I try to look for the best moves, not only for myself, but also I try to foresee opponent's best reply. Sometimes what beginners do, and the typical example of this is a scholar's thing. Probably most of you have heard about it. It's like where you're making purposely a bad queen move. You're moving the queen out early, and it's not really that good of a move, but you're hoping that the opponent will fall for a trick, and then you will win the game in 4 moves. But as a matter of fact, you don't want to get used to playing chess like that, because if you only start hoping that your opponent will make a mistake, guess what? When your opponent will start playing good chess, and when you'll start playing good players, suddenly you won't win too many games like that anymore, and you won't learn much from winning a game in 4 moves anyway. So you want to get used from the very beginning to play chess the right way, and that is, don't assume your opponent will make a mistake. Assume your opponent will always make the best moves. Calculate the best moves for your opponent. Don't just be selfish as a chess player. That's another very, very important thing. It's very important to not just play for yourself, but also play for your opponent. 2 ways. Because you have to ask yourself every move, what does your opponent want? What is his threat? What is his idea? Because otherwise, if you only look at your stuff, but you miss, all it takes is missing one big opponent's idea, and that's it. You'll lose the game. If he's attacking your queen and you ignore it, you lose your queen and you lose the game. If he's attacking mate and you ignore it, he'll mate you. Even if you're up a lot on material and if you've played a good game up to this point. So it's very important to pay attention to your opponent's ideas, and if you want to play a move, it's only a good move if it's good against every reply. It's not a good move if, let's say you make a move which is winning in 9 cases, but in 1 case it's losing. Like, if you know what I mean, right? So if your position is, let's say, equal, normal position, and then you're playing a move.
Expect your opponent to play the best move.
Where against 9 moves, you know, your position is winning suddenly, but against 1 move, your position is losing, you don't want to play that move, because under that one circumstance, like he plays the best move, it spoils your position. Does everyone get that? So it's very important not to get into that whole chess mentality. That's why, yes, when I think about my moves and my opponents. I try to do that.
Yes, sir.
What was the last tournament you participated in? How did you place and what did you do to prepare for it?
Well, I guess you have to decide, technically my last tournament I played, it was like a very small local tournament, but if you say big, I mean, I guess it depends on how big you're talking, you mentioned the tournament. So, I guess I'll talk about this year. This year I've actually went overseas 3 times. I had 1 decent one very good one, 1 bad one. So, this year overall has been pretty good for me so far, but we'll see. We'll go from there. Yeah.
Do you look at chess as religious or spiritual in nature, or you play it purely as a game?
That's a good question. Yes. For me, chess is both a game, but to me it's also a sport. And I'm not sure if I want to talk about the topic of religion in this place, but yes.
You can.
Okay, I got to it, okay. But for me, yeah, chess, I do think I try to connect to God when I play the game of chess. And I always feel like for every chess result, it's God's will. And that's partially why I try not to stress about the games too much, because my goal is just to do the best I can so that I do my maximum with my God-given talent, while the result, I feel like, it's up to God's will. Sometimes you might just run into an opponent who deserves it more. As long as you give your extra effort every day of your life and every tournament, that's all that matters for me. So that's does that answer your question?
Well, I could ask more, but you don't have to talk about it.
Okay.
So,
Like when you retire from chess and get older, what do you think you like chess-wise? What do you think you would be doing to help?
You mean what will I do after I retire from chess? I don't know. It's right now I do most of playing chess. I try to get better. After I retire from that, if I get too old or something happens with me, obstacles, then I would love to teach chess and kind of like share my knowledge with other people, help other people out. So those would be my top choices. I would always want to be around chess.
here.
On your regular slow game, how long would you usually use for that game if you like play some?
Well, it depends on the tournament. I mean, if it's a tournament with a long time control, let's say like the longest possible time control, the longest game might last 5-6 hours. Like a short game at my level, maybe like between 1 and 2 hours. So I would say average might be roughly 3-4 hours for a long game. If I'm playing like a long big tournament, like whether it's nationals, well, I'm not going to play nationals anymore because I grew out of it. But okay, I meant like long tournament. I'm comparing to nationals because nationals is long time control, not game theory, but long games. So I would say 3-4 hours is the average for a long game. And of course, if you're playing blitz, then okay, it's most of the time both players it really inspired me so much. And then, okay, you know, it's like when my father bought me this book, they could never imagine that not only would I actually become a grandmaster, but I would actually meet this person. Now, actually, I met both of these people. At first, I played carpool at a simul after I won the World Youth. Okay, that's already a surprise, right? But then even more surprising is I met Evgeny Git. You figure, how would I possibly meet him? And he's in Russia, and you know what's most improbable is, and actually the place where I met him, I actually met him at church because he happened to be the father of the wife of my priest who I go to. So that's like really an amazing story. I told him how much I liked this book, and it was just such a unique story. Which, like, if you would say something like that 15 years ago, you would think that you're like high or something. It's a really funny story. So yeah. Anyway, it was but it's written in Russian. I don't even know if it's translated in English. It's not such a well-known book, but you know that was a book that really inspired me. You know, when I was a kid growing up, and I read it over and over and over again.
What was the difference in the way that your father taught you and your grandmother taught you? Because you said you.
It was actually my grandfather. Yeah. Well, first of all, I was younger back then, so maybe I was not emotionally quite ready for the game yet. And I think my grandpa. Well, first of all, every time when I was a kid, every summer I would go to Germany because, like, my relatives, we immigrated from Russia to the U.S. They immigrated from Russia to Germany, and so every summer I would go to Germany to see them and my relatives from my mom's side. And this grandpa, he's like a very patient guy, you know, he's like very methodical, and he just kind of talked me into learning chess. And okay, the rest is history.
Yes.
What's the hardest game you played?
Hardest game to play? Well, they're all tough for the most part, but it's hard to say. But I guess they're all hard. You know, it's hard. It's a very hard to answer that question because it's very general. It's like they're all hard in one way or another. Like sometimes you might play a game where you're really sick. That's a very hard game to play. Not feeling well, or it might be hard because it's a lot of high pressure game, or it might be hard because it's just like the chess game was actually hard, or it might be hard because like the opponent was very hard. But it's hard to generalize that because it could be hard in different ways. But I guess the most memorable for me was like a game I played against Hikaru Nakamura, a game which lasted 120 moves in the U.S. Championship.
That's the number one player in the United States.
Yeah.
Number 2 in the world.
It was a draw.
And then eventually I made a draw after 120 moves. You know, it looked like a Dutch fortress, but eventually he found a way to break through it, but it wasn't quite enough. It was just like this epic game, but it's just the first game that comes to my mind right now. But I wouldn't necessarily say it was my hardest. I'm sure if I think about it, I'll think about other really hard games that I've.
How do you mentally react if you like make a blunder or make a move that you don't think you probably should have made?
Yeah, that's a good question. I try to keep a poker face. I try not to show my emotion. Okay, so actually, you know, like most people when they make a blunder, like Carlson, like the really best players, as soon as they blunder, they see it like instinctively. For some reason with me, it's not so. Oftentimes, I make a blunder, I don't even see it until my opponent makes a move. So I guess I'm lucky in that way because I don't get a chance to show my emotion. But the couple of times when I did realize something, I just try to stand still and be confident in the board as if nothing happened. Sometimes I would go to the restroom just to not show myself at all. Or I would walk around, I would get up from the wall. I would try not to show anything. Not even like a single glitch. I mean, as a matter of fact, even after my opponent makes a move and I realize it's a mistake, I would try not to show it right away. You know, but sometimes I don't manage. So.
Kenneth, any last?
What were some things that you what were some of the things that you learned in life that you could relate to chess?
Something that I learned in life that can teach you chess. Never give up. You know, keep the motivation. You know, keep being motivated. Keep trying to improve. Those are the things that I've really learned from my Georgie, and that's where my religion helps my chess because it's, you know, you kind of when you have that approach in life, it's much easier to take it into chess. So basically, you know, and also not being afraid of a grandmaster, or, you know, like, I try to relate that to, like, not having fear of some things I might have in life, like dogs or maybe something else. I try to discipline myself that even if I see a lion in front of me, that I will still not panic with the kind of fear. But I mean, I'm a long way from that, but that's what I try to get accomplished, get to level.
What was the biggest tournament you played in?
Biggest tournament I played in? Well, I played in a couple of US championships, and 4 to be exact. In my opinion, the biggest one I played and my biggest success ever was up to this point, hopefully more to come, but up to this point, was playing at the World Team Championship where I played for the US team. I got lucky, I got into the team only because 4 top players declined. And I got to play for the US team this year in Armenia, you know, representing US, and it was only 10 top teams in that tournament, like 10 best teams, Russia, Ukraine, Armenia, Hungary, like the best chess teams. And we did well. We scored in the top half, actually, even though we were basically one of the lowest seeds besides Egypt, because of the fact that 4 of our top players declined. And I was really happy. That was my best tournament because I played on World 2, you know, against challenging opponents, including some legendary players like Ivanchuk, and I beat him, and I got 5 out of 7, and I won. Actually, I was the top scorer on my board, and that was probably that gold medal meant much more to me than this World Youth Under 16, because that was a childhood event, but this was where I was able to help the team do well, and to me that's more important, that I do well for the team rather than individually. So, in my opinion, that was my biggest moment up to this point.
Speaking of, I'm going to piggyback off of that. You played for one of the legendary high school teams. How many national titles did you guys win?
Well, we won 2 clear.
What team is that?
In 04 and 06.
Laurel.
And from Moro High School. In fact, there is a book called Kings of New York about my childhood. And if you read that book, you'll see that my youth wasn't easy, and I was not an easy person to work with. But, you know, but anyway, it just shows how people can change from high school to when they grow up if they have the right approach. The good thing about people is, unlike animals, they could change because they have a brain and they can change. They have a
Free will.
Yeah, they have free will and they have a soul, and that's the main difference between an animal and a person. So no matter how bad you think some person is, you never want to judge him completely, because sometimes I've heard a story that even people who killed somebody at some point, they become much better people and they become sincere and so forth. So even like sometimes you might hear a person when a person who commits a crime, but they might have been raised in such a bad obstacles that they almost like were doomed or something like that, and maybe they almost did it out of despair. But like even these kind of people can be good, so can end up being good, being with a good heart. And I've heard of stories like that. So it's important to try not to judge anyone. That's what I've also learned in life. And it helps my chess too. You know why? Because like again, it comes to the same thing, not underestimating your opponent. Somebody might have been like weak for 5 years, but then suddenly last year they might have studied like crazy, and now they're a different player. But if you play them like you knew them 5 years ago, you might lose a game like that because you know they've improved. And because they're, like I said, a human can always change, and unfortunately they can always also change to a worse side. So that's something that we want to try to avoid. It's not to change
your favorite chess players to learn from and study?
What did you say again?
Who are your favorite chess players?
Favorite chess players? Well, I think, starting with world champions, because you can learn the most from them. They have the most, they were the best players, the world champions, so you can pretty much learn the most from them. And then, you go to people who were near misses for the world champion, basically studying classical games, classical players, I learned from them. To me, they're all equal in a way that all of them have certain aspects from which you can learn something. For example, Steinitz, before Steinitz, the first world champion in the 19th century, all they did is attacking chess. They didn't have any defensive skills for the most part. Steinitz was the first person who pretty much brought in defensive school. Lasker brought in something new. He brought in psychology to chess. Capablanca brought in positional understanding, playing simple, quiet position. And then Aleksandr, for example, brought in the concept of being a great attacker, dynamics. And then Goethe, a lot of people don't even respect him as a world champion because he beat Aleksandr when he was not at his best. But he brought in the concept of having a very good physical shape. Because the main reason he beat him is because Aleksandr did have good physical shape. And Goethe too, even though he was half amateur, he was working another job. And then Botvinnik, he a really systematic training, the sixth world champion. And then Smyslov brought in the concept of harmony, which up till now it's still like an amazing discovery. And then Tao was like a new Alekhine, and there was Alekhine #2, where he was also like a great firewalks. Petrosian, ninth world champion, he brought in the concept of prophylaxis. Spassky was a universal player. He brought in all of them together. Fischer was the first ever super professional, where he cared about professional conditions and so forth. Whereas people before that, they were amateurs. Even the best players, world champions, they were amateurs. They didn't do chess super professional. They didn't have professional approaches. And tournaments were professional. People would smoke at tournaments. People would have good lighting. Fischer fought with them. And that's why Fischer is a hero, just for that. Okay, you might not like his stories after that, and that's true. His post-world champion life is really sad. But before he was a world champion, he really made chess popular. And because of him, we have much more money in chess and so forth. He made chess in the US popular. And then Karpov, he was basically Karpov, Kasparov, Kramnik, they're already all super professionals, and they brought in newer aspects into chess. Like Karpov had a great positional understanding, like Capablanca. Kasparov had amazing analysis at home. He had amazing preparation, like Botvinnik #2, and also he had that dynamic style. So Kramnik beat Kasparov. He found Kasparov's weakness, played this opening, which Kasparov didn't respect, and learned how he brought this approach of playing solid with black and pressing with white. And Anand was again universal. And now we have Carlsen, who is basically again like Karpov #2 or something. Capablanca #3. Playing simple positions, not caring about opening preparation, just trying to get a game, equal game, whatever. Just trying to get a game and outplaying them and know it better. So it's like every world champion brings something new to the table, and you can always find something to learn from the games.
Speaking of the world champions, Magnus Carlsen is the current world champion, and he seems to have a total dominance in the sport. Why do you think he has such a dominance right now?
Well, I think all world champions, for the most part, they have dominance. At the time, they had become world champion. It's just some people last longer than others, some people last shorter. I think Carlsen is motivated to get better. He always tries to learn new things. He tries to adjust, and that helps him out quite a bit because he's very universal. So he can play just about any opening. He can play just about any style. So he's a very good psychologist. So it's very difficult, for people to play him because he can find the key to beat you in almost any thing. And the thing he really has is he knows how to play a long game, like 5-6 hours, and even play as well in the 6th hour as in the first hour. He has amazing physical stamina. He has amazing patience. He can outlast a very equal, almost completely drawn position. top players, just outlast them almost. Just like they will crack. They crack eventually, and he doesn't crack. It's just amazing discipline, amazing motivation.
Is there any advice, anything that you can say to the young ladies about them playing chess? Because it seems like they start off playing, and after they get maybe high school age, they kind of drop off. Is there anything that you can do to encourage our young ladies that are here?
Okay. I have my opinion about that. So the reason a lot of females in U.S. specifically drop out of chess is because there are a lot of other very good opportunities for females to make a living. Like for example, not in a lot of other countries, like Eastern European countries, women don't often have very good opportunities for other jobs. So they stay with chess because they're talented and they feel like they can make a good living with it. Whereas here, chess it isn't like the best way to make a living. And okay, the top women in the country maybe are like 2300. Besides the US Women's Champion, there's not much you can earn as a woman chess player, unless you're like a Judith Polgar who you found like top player, woman player who competes in men's tournaments all the time. Unless you play at that level, it's like girls who are 16 years old and let's say 17 years old and let's say are a master, they feel okay. I'm smart. I'm multi-talented. I can do a lot of different things. Why should I do chess, which is so depressing in that way, when I have all these other things? I can graduate law school. I can get a medical degree, and especially that in colleges, oftentimes, under equal circumstances, I think sometimes they take the females, right? I don't know if that's true, but I think, the females get more opportunities in the real world basically than in chess in this country, and that's why I think they prefer to go in this other direction where they get opportunities than in chess, which unless you become top, you're basically not going to make much of a living. And okay, I mean, why do they stop chess completely? Well, I guess it's the same reason, because if they keep playing chess, then they're not able to really give it their all into other stuff like education, or their own lifestyle. It's like one of these things. So I think it just has to do with the fact that the society in this country is kind of not built for like female chess players to like. I don't know. I don't know if it's like a right assessment, but I mean, it's for positive reasons. But like, it just happens that because of that, it naturally happens. Unless the women these girls really love chess, like that's what I'm saying. That's what the first thing I said is you have to love chess, because if you don't love chess, then, it's like choosing that as your profession or choosing that as your big hobby really makes no sense, because you're going to eventually drop out of it. Eventually, you're going to have other interests, whether you're a boy or a girl, female or male, basically. I mean, so it's one of these things. I don't know. I mean, does that answer the question, or maybe would you rather hear something else? I don't know. I mean,
I'm not saying that I'd rather hear something else, but I just think we should encourage them so that when they get to high school, they continue playing chess.
Well, like
Not
I said,
necessarily as a career, but they continue to play it.
you have to love the game. That's basically, you have to be more educated. Like, for example, take this person, Aleksandr. I think she did some report in the last chess life article. She interviewed 3 players. Shankland, I don't know, people who have chess life, most of them probably have it. If you read it, she interviewed 3 players. Shankland, Aleksandr, and Robert Hess. And all 3 of them been to college, and all 3 of them have a different. Robert Hess, he was once a top grandmaster, and in the country, he quit playing chess completely because he never really loved it so much. Shankland, on the other hand, finished college, he still loves it so much, he keeps playing it, and he tries to get better. He doesn't want to work in any other job, he wants to do chess. Aleksandr is kind of in between. And Lisa Milakina still managed to play top tournaments even though she finished law school. So she didn't play as much, but she still loves it enough that she still enjoys it to play at least sometimes. So my recommendation to you, to all the females here, is don't drop out completely. Try to enjoy the game and try to at least play for fun. It doesn't have to be as a profession, but try to just play for fun. Maybe, I'm sure you can do something positive, like you could maybe teach to kids. I mean, if you're a good player, you can definitely teach kids. Especially a lot of females are very good with kids, so you can use that quality to help out younger kids, even if you're not like top player. Like let's say if you're 2000 and you're like 16, 17 years old, you're going to be very helpful for kids who are inspiring to become very good players. And you can play as a hobby. You can just try to enjoy the game and don't, like I said, don't do it so much that it will take away from your other important activity, but do it only at your leisure, like you enjoy it. So my recommendation to you guys is to read this article by Aleksandr. I think that article kind of talks about more or less chess in the U.S. and female chess as well. I mean, it was like a maze version, maybe April, but I definitely recommend if someone has it, try to read it. It's a good one.
Is it somewhat correct to think that at your level, since grandmasters have all the major openings memorized, that you really don't have to start being creative or even start thinking until you get close to the middle game, since you're going to kind of play textbook in the beginning?
That's a good question. That's something that Magnus Carlsen tries to avoid. He tries to play such openings where that's not so required. He tries to just play openings where you get a game, where you don't have to remember all these sharp conflict variations. But if I do have to play a sharp line occasionally, then yes, I make sure that I remember it very well. But if it's not a sharp position, I try not to just play based on my computer analysis and my memory, but I just try to use my common sense and just try to play chess. So I try to take cards, for example, if I can. I mean, okay, I can sometimes also catch someone on preparation, but that's not what I try to make my main game. You know what I mean?
Any questions? Yes. Speak loud, sir, so everyone can
What's
hear.
your favorite opening to play?
Well, again, it's a very general question. I don't necessarily have a favorite opening. My favorite opening is the one that's successful.
You hear that a lot from grandmasters. When you ask grandmasters what their favorite opening, they never give you an opening. They say, well, we just played the board. So that actually kind of falls in. Yes.
What's the grandmaster schedule look like?
Well, it depends. Depends on the tournaments. Sometimes it's like a self-employed job. Sometimes it's more flexible. Sometimes it's less. Sometimes it's more busy. Sometimes it's more flexible. It depends on the time of year. It depends on when the big tournaments are. Depends on a lot of factors. It's not like a consistent 9 to 5 like you might be thinking. It's different. Yeah.
You're going to be competing in the Millionaire tournament.
Yeah, that's in October.
Who's your competition, major competition?
Myself. You know why I say that? Is because, in my opinion, if I'm in bad form, if I play bad, if I self-destruct, if I make unforced errors, anybody can beat me. Even somebody in round 1, like a 22, 2300. They can play a good game. Or they can even beat me at my best. They can be even better that one day. You never know. At the same time, I feel like if I'm in best shape, I feel like anyone's beatable, including Nakamura and Carlsen and Weston Sol and the top players. Because they're all humans. Any human can play great at one game, but also human can make a mistake. So, it's unpredictable. So, my goal is just to be in optimal form, in optimal shape. I don't worry about who I have to compete against.
Any advice for the kids? Some of the kids here are going to have the opportunity to play Nakamura in August. And Nakamura is going to be coming here to play some of our top players.
Don't be afraid of him. He's going to play 50 boards at once. So, and he'll play creative, interesting chess. We'll try to make the games fun. So don't prepare too much. Just try to be fresh. try to eat healthy that day, try to sleep well before that, so come into the game in optimal shape, so that be prepared to calculate, and he sometimes might make mistakes, because he has to worry about 50 different games, and eventually he's a great player, he's a genius, but even he's still human, so he might lose concentration here and there, and if you create problems for him, if you hang in there and if you play good games, eventually he'll make a mistake along the games, and that's your job to try to take advantage of it. Don't even be surprised if he makes a big mistake or a blunder, because it could happen when you play 50 games at once. So don't just expect that your opponent is playing perfect. Of course, you should give him the benefit of the doubt and calculate, and don't assume he made a mistake. But eventually, if he comes close to the board and you still don't see the reputation to the best move you think it is, trust yourself. That's the main thing. Don't be afraid. Even if you lose, but trust yourself. That's the main thing. Don't be afraid of this guy. He's still a human, and that no matter who you play, anyone's beatable, especially in the side. Ali? Well, I don't know. I mean, I do pay taxes, so both of my winnings. So I'm self-employed. I have to say all my winnings and all my losses, but yeah, okay. It's you're gonna have servants in chess where you come in empty-handed, you don't win anything, and you spend some expenses. But overall, in the course of a year or two, you still come out in a plus. Otherwise, I would be a professional. And also, it's not like I'm trying to make maximum money right now. I'm trying to get better. And once I get at a very high level, if I get to the very high level, then it's going to be a very good living. Because then I'll be invited in top tournaments where I just get paid for reputation. So that's the idea. And if that doesn't work out, like I said, chess teaching is my back.
What's the most you won in a tournament?
25,000. That was last year's championship.
Jay?
Who inspired you to play chess?
Who inspired me to play chess? It was my grandfather who taught me. And then the coach who was working with me, he really loved chess, like I already talked about. And also my father, who was always driving me to tournaments. So I would say everybody, my parents and my coaches.
Was your grandfather like a master?
No, he wasn't the master. He was like maybe like between 12 and 1600 dollars. He wasn't a strong player, but he just taught me to play chess, and then the coaches did the rest, and my talent. He just taught me how to use it and taught me some basic things. That's all.
Any other questions? Going once? Twice? Ms. Martinez?
If it was, excuse me, anyone that you could play, living or that has passed on, who would you like to play?
Good question. Let me think about it. Who would I like to play? Carlson.
Who is it?
Magnus Carlsen. But you played, not number 2 player, and you played him twice, right?
I played Nakamura 2 times, and I've also played him in shorter games as well. But I played him in 2 long big games, long games, and also I played Caruana, the number 2 or number 3 player in the world. I don't know whatever he is now. I played him all the time when he was a kid. The thing is, we were both growing up in New York, and he left the country. Why? Because, like I said at the beginning, chess in New York was not so great. There was not enough sponsorship and so forth. So Caruana, unlike me, he left to Europe where you could practice on a regular basis. He didn't have to go to school. He stayed in Spain, and he just worked on chess full time. He had the best coaches, and he was able to reach the top level. maybe I can get as good as Caruana and the Camora. It's just, we'll see. I have to hope for the best. Yeah, more?
Is chess your full-time job?
Yes.
Okay, well, let's give a round of applause.